Hey, hi everyone. This is Ranmay Rath on your show E-Coffee with Experts. Today we have Cory Falter from your agency. And welcome to our show, Cory. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ranmay. Appreciate you having me on. Happy Friday.
Great. Cory, before we move any forward, I would like you to introduce yourself to our audiences tonight and more about your agency, and then we can take it forward from there.
Yeah, it sounds great. No, thank you. As you had mentioned, Cory Falter, I am a partner at Lure Agency. We're based out of San Diego, California, and we also have another office in Boulder, Colorado. I am a 56-year-old native San Diegan. I began my career as an art director, graduating from San Diego State back in the good old 90s, before the internet, pre-internet. I don't want to date myself, but a lot of good times back then where print was still king. This was big before computers. We had direct mail and newspaper was still huge. Magazine print was all the rage. So I was able to cut my teeth pre-internet. And then obviously we had the transition to online, which has been obviously a huge transformation. So I've got the benefit of really building my career without that electronic, which I think really helped carve out the fundamentals of design and marketing, which I think oftentimes we gloss over because it's the technology. It's always the shiny new object. And I think oftentimes we miss those fundamentals. So I feel very blessed and grateful to be able to have worked on both sides of that fence. 12 years ago, after we had a tremendously horrible 0809, part of the economy fell out. I found myself basically going from a very lucrative career in print, graphic design, and branding to essentially overnight out of work. So at that time, I decided to jump on the old digital bandwagon, and we opened Lure Agency back in 2012, exclusively on social media engagements for hotels. It was the perfect platform. It's almost like Facebook was built for hotels in hospitality and travel in general. It's visually driven, and it's just the way that hospitality is geared to engage its customers and clients. It was a glorious time when there was no algorithm pullback. Everything that you posted, all the followers saw. You could drive revenue without running ads. It was unbelievable time to have an agency and walk in to a hotel that had never heard of Facebook, and a general manager maybe had heard it from their kids, and you could show right up front just incredible these dialogues that we had were going on with their guests in real time. Back there, Twitter was actually pretty engaged in hotels. So it was really pretty cool to show a hotel general manager in real time in engagement with their guest. So that was an amazing time. Fast forward today, social media's changed a lot. It's now an ad platform for the most part for brands. Still an important element of things, but we've transitioned a lot into what we're calling relationship marketing. And in the good old days of HubSpot, it's inbound marketing. A lot of people don't realize what inbound marketing is. So we're running with relationship marketing because essentially we're using content, high-level touch points to ultimately build trust with prospects before the decision process is made, and thus driving demand back to our clients in the form of inbound inquiries. So it's the antithesis of outbound cold versus inbound. We really are bullish on the concept of inbound. I've always been that type of person that I never want to thrust myself on somebody needlessly. I love the concept of inspiring, educating, and really building trust with somebody first, so that at one point, when they need something and they remember our conversation, they go, "Oh my gosh, Cory was talking about this concept of inbound marketing or relationship marketing, and I got to give them a call." Building sales that way versus, "Hey, let me try and convince you to buy something that you don't want, you don't need," and creating that friction. And ultimately, as we know with the internet, things have changed, and it's changed sales completely. In fact, that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. So thank you.
Good. Thank you for that detailed introduction, Cory. And you have been into B2B hospitality industry for so long. So just wanted to understand from your perspective, how do you incorporate emerging technologies? Because like you mentioned, it's all about technology these days. such as AI, which is like the storm that we all are in right now, and machine learning into your marketing strategies for B2B companies in the hospitality space?
Yeah, great question, because it is so easy to jump on that next shiny object, right? It's been Chat
Yeah.
GPT and AI at nauseum for the last 6 weeks. It's coming at us like a fire hose. So getting back to what I was talking about earlier on the fundamentals of things, it's so easy to get distracted off of your main mission of results, driving results. So we've been very cautious on just jumping on the latest technology. But so I want to touch on just a couple of tried and true things that we couldn't do what we do without it. The first of which is we use sales and marketing CRM. And for the simplicity of argument, I'll use HubSpot as the CRM.
Yeah.
We use an alternative, which is now, it was SharpSpring. It's now Constant Contact Lead Gen CRM. That's a normal process and a tool that a lot of SaaS technology companies use. It's relatively unknown in hospitality B2B, which is a good thing for us, because you can't really execute a high level B2B marketing strategy without automation and without a tech stack like that. It's just impossible. It's so long. It requires so many touches at a very high level, personal level. You couldn't do it manually, but hospitality is still doing it manually. If you can believe that. Their traditional legacy systems don't give you the ability to put together sophisticated workflows or automation that can move somebody down a particular long sales cycle, long funnel, and touch them a long way at a very high personal level. They don't do that right now. So we use these SharpSpring, in particular, the Constant Contact Lead Gen CRM, to create these workflows so that our hotel salespeople can really execute and nurture that high-level prospect down the funnel and spend that personalized time one-on-one with that bottom of the funnel 3% person. Where traditionally they haven't been able to put together a sophisticated long sales cycle like that. So the automations in particular are very helpful, but what also is very helpful is lead scoring. And traditionally, hotel salespeople have used time and just sheer luck to pick up the phone, check in with the prospects. They haven't talked to this person in a while. Has nothing to do with what you would consider insights from a traditional CRM. So, a CRM like HubSpot, Salesforce, and Constant Contact's Lead Gen CRM, you can use what's called life of the lead. You can see your prospect engaging with your website in terms of duration, how long they've been on the website, lead scoring, so that they may just reach back out to them and say, hey, how have you been? We haven't talked in a long time. Been thinking about you. So using these tools to really amplify their proactive prospecting efforts. And so like I mentioned before, the legacy systems that they're using or they have been using, they don't integrate with anything else. It's closed end, it's boxed in. So what we like about the Constant Contact CRM and HubSpot is the integrations with Zapier. And so Zapier is now giving us the ability to connect with a new solution, one of which is only that we know of right now that is transforming the industry. Event Temple is the only sales and catering solution that now integrates with this sales and marketing CRM to create a complete closed loop ecosystem from start to closed won or closed lost. So that sales and marketing CRM would be one tool. The other one that I just found out about this weekend, I spent all weekend researching new video editing tools because I spend a lot of time doing exactly what we're doing here. I create a lot of content producing in interviews, exactly what we're doing right now. I spent so much time using in video and then have to go to Premiere to create subtitles. And it's been a long process. So after much research, and reaching out to my trusted community, because that's where I'm getting my recommendations these days, not from digital ads. I'm reaching out to my community and people that I trust. One in particular gave me, hey, you got to check out this script. And I checked it out. I kicked the tires on this, and I blew me away on amazing this video editor is, because you literally, when you drop a video into the panel, it transcribes it automatically for you. And then with the click of a button, you can remove filler words like long pauses by simply taking it out of the script. It takes that out of the video. I'd spend hours reducing long pauses and removing words like that in the good old days. So not only has it helped just from the editing, but it's super fast and it produces the most incredibly high quality video amazingly, exporting it out. So Descript has just saved me a tremendous amount of time. And this is obviously all AI driven. So that is one of the tools that we have that we recently jumped on in terms of the AI, being very selective, because there's just an overwhelming plethora of AI this, AI that out there. Two really rock solid tools that I can vouch for right now.
Great. And that's quite a lot of experience speaking there, I must say. And in B2B hospitality is such a crowded marketplace. And so how do you ensure that your clients stand out versus their competition and in such a space?
It's funny. It is crowded, but much like a lot of other industries, most all of them are chasing that elusive 3% of prospects that are in market.
Okay.
Which is lead gen versus demand gen, and missing out on the 97% left of potential prospects to create that demand over the amount of time. It is relatively unexplored on the demand gen side. So using, again, relationship marketing, which many hotels are not doing on the events and meetings side, and even the supplier side, they're still trying to spam prospects, and I'm talking about the supplier side, with cold email, buy our product. They're missing out that long game of educating, inspiring their prospects. So when they have a problem that comes around, they're top of mind, immediately builds that trust with their prospect. People are still doing that in B2B. In fact, I'd say that's still the norm. They're not taking the time and patience to run a long game. And so in that sense, I didn't say it's that hard, but there's so few hotels and suppliers doing that. That's where we really shine for some of our clients, because this relationship marketing is all about building trust. And as I mentioned before we got onto this, especially on the meetings and the hotel side, there's a lot more prospects entering the market that are planning meetings that aren't necessarily professional meeting planners. They're administrative assistants, and their CEO has come to them and said, we need to plan a corporate event. We used to have a meeting planner, but we didn't bring them back from the pandemic. You are now tasked with planning a meeting for this. Please find us a place, a hotel, a resort, venue where we can have our corporate event in 6 months coming up. I want maybe a place where we can have some team building events, and we need a place where we can have an outdoor activities. So these people are now tasked with planning an event, and they've never planned an event before. And they're just going, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start. I don't know. I'm stressed because planning an event is one of the most stressful things ever. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine, especially imagine somebody's CEO said, Sally Sue, plan an event. I know you haven't done it before, but we trust you. I know you got this. So we're seeing, instead of the traditional tools and protocols that a meeting planner would use to find a venue, these people are going to Google and going, meeting venue near me, not knowing where to start. So many hotels and resorts are still playing in that 3% demand gen or lead gen program. They're missing out on all this new opportunity. So we are creating more of an ecosystem for our hotels and resorts it's built to drive more direct business to the hotel website versus through the traditional third-party platforms that have been used for ages. So getting back to that relationship marketing, building that trust. Sally Sue has been tasked to create a meeting, doesn't know where to turn. She's naturally going to find somebody that has shown to have done this in the past, that has got testimonials, that has shown maybe some case studies, has shown some results that puts trust in her that this person can make her look great, or at least at the very least, not put her job on the line because she's messed this up. So what a great opportunity for hotels, especially if they've got a sales team that are seasoned, that are experienced, that are rock stars, to position themselves as thought leaders that are trusted advisors in their space. And what better way to do that with relationship marketing? And so that's how we use content to really help build that trust and that authority with somebody that they've never met. Because remember, as I mentioned before, people don't impulse buy large ticket items. They don't trust advertising anymore. They're going to reviews. They're going to testimonials. They're going to friends. They're going to family. They're going for word of mouth. You simply can't build that out of paying for an ad. You need to create that. And that process takes thoughtfulness and time. And that can only be done through a process like relationship or inbound marketing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then content plays such an important role, be it in any industry, but specific to B2B hospitality. How do you work with your clients closely to develop an effective content marketing strategy? And then how do you ensure that the content resonates with the target audience at the same time? Because it's B2B segment that we're talking about here.
Great question. Back in my former art director days, I hated strategy. I didn't want to draw within the lines, right? Don't give me rules to work by. I want a blank canvas to work. Now, being on this digital marketing side, it's all about strategy. It's all about the why. And back in years, remember in the good old days of content marketing, just churn out blogs, just fill it with keywords. It was a wild west of content marketing. Now it's a very methodical, thoughtful process. As you mentioned in our prior conversation, Ahrefs, SEMrush, and we use Ubersuggest. That's our go-to. I really like Neil Patel. He's the godfather of SEO, right? His tools got to be great. So we use those tools as well as the pulse of our clients to find out what the pain points are, because that is the crust of content. Your content, how you find out it resonates is if you're addressing specific pain points. And how do you know that? People are searching for words. They're doing keyword searches on questions that they have. Now it's ChatGPT. It's like, give me 5 video editors and now I use ChatGPT just to do that exact thing this last weekend.
Okay.
So you are solving problems. That your content should be delivering solutions for those problems. It's like I said, back in the Wild West, it was more about, hey, what do you think people are going to be reading about this week? Now we have the tools that tell us really what people are searching for. So first and foremost, strategy, finding out what that pain point is for your desired audience, and then getting feedback and test the pulse of what your prospects are talking about. Again, it's that long game. We've been doing this for so long. It's optimizing, doing a lot of really what works, doing more of what's worked, doing less of what's not. But also it's that balance too of giving it time. And as an SEO expert yet you are, SEO is a long game. It's not it's a 90 days plus time frame. It's that balance of knowing when to pivot because it's not working, but give it enough time that at least it vets itself out to know that this isn't working. So that's another important part of trying to figure out exactly if your content is resonating with your particular audience. Ultimately, it boils down to driving revenue and the bottom line. Ultimately, we've been fortunate to be able to connect those dots and really understand that our efforts In fact, last year we just did a case study. One of our resorts, we were able to attribute over $850,000 to our efforts based on our relationship marketing strategy. And that had to be done entirely manually because, as I mentioned before, their systems are not connected. So it's so important to start with that why and that strategy so that you're not spinning your wheels. And best place to start is solving your prospects' pain points.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, Gauri, I wanted to understand, and I'm sure our audiences also would love to hear it from you. You've been there, done that, seen that. Where do you see the B2B hospitality landscape going on from here in the next, let's say, another 3-5 years? Where do you see it moving forward?
Great last question. As I mentioned before, that trend to smaller meetings and people that are planning meetings and other things being smaller, and because of what we're doing right now, the remote, and I'm sure at your guys' agency, I can imagine you got entirely a lot of remote workers, right?
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
lot of companies have foregone their quote unquote headquarters. They've got teams all over the world. And so they still know that they need to meet face to face because the magic happens when this is great. But when we meet face to face, if we ever get an opportunity to meet face to face, our conversations are going to be much more meaningful, much more deeper.
Yeah.
Businesses have realized that. So we've got this whole new business segment coming out of the work culture that are now corporations that are saying, look, we've got to meet at least four times a year. Let's find a host hotel that we can have each quarter. We can have a corporate leadership check-in. And these are going to be smaller meetings, more productive, different types. And it's just going to be a different type of meeting versus maybe an annual sales conference, that type of thing. So that trend to smaller, more intimate, but more frequent meetings and more direct business for hotels, because direct is where it's at. You've got more control. You've got better opportunities to retain that business because you're in your constant communication with them. The possibility of closing that business because more about your prospect and that retention. You're able to build that relationship for the long haul. And we all know having reoccurring revenue, reoccurring business that you can trust and you can count on is so incredibly important than trying to create new opportunities every single month. So building that long-term relationship is critical.
Great. Thank you so much, Gauri, for all those important insights. And I'm sure our audiences would have benefited a lot out of it. And then before we kind of finally let you go, I would want to play a quick rapid fire with you. I hope you're game for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Superb. What was your last Google search?
My
You can
last,
check your system. It's an open book one, so don't worry. If you want to.
no, where is the Montserrat Hotel in Point Loma? Because I went there yesterday for an event.
Okay, superb. Your favorite book?
Gap Selling. I'm looking at it right now by Keenan.
Superb.
Any salespeople out there, it's a must read. It's an incredible read.
And I'll take the link from you then. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what is the best thing that you love about your job? Or your work for that matter?
I love it's twofold. I love being an entrepreneur. I know it's not cut out for everybody.
Yeah.
But there's something I've been inherently, the majority of my professional career, I've been an entrepreneur. I like working for myself, not being reliant on someone else for my paycheck. My heart just a little bit, I've had a short stint of being a solid employee, and it's just a different feeling for me. I get up every morning knowing extra motivation that's me on the line. There's no one else that's gonna do it. And I love hospitality. I love the people. I love the buzz. It's such a cool industry to work in. And then I love B2B. B2B is my passion because I get to work with salespeople. It's a longer cycle. I love the human element. And I'm especially passionate about working with hotel salespeople because it's been the same reactionary sales process for so long. And now I see these changes coming along, and it's perfectly set up for relationship marketing and inbound. And they realize it. It's like, I see the light bulbs coming on. I finally see them going, wow, I get this. I understand building trust with new people makes a lot of sense. And that's what, so I'd say it's a trifecta thing. So I'm very fortunate, very blessed to be a marketing professional in this space. Yeah.
Okay, great. The last one, yeah. You're a night person or a morning person?
At my old age, and it's not just me, but
You are young, yeah.
yeah. I'm an early riser now, and it's the older you get, the earlier you get. I can't tell you the last time I was up as late as you are right now.
Okay.
So I'm a 5 a.m. guy. 5 a.m. I'm up. I love it. It's nice and quiet, and that's my go-to time. Got my coffee rolling here, and yeah.
Lovely then. Thank you. I really will not drill you any further. Yeah. Thank you once again, Cory, for taking out time for this podcast, and really appreciate it, man. You have a great day.
Hey, thank you, Ranmay. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for having me on. And I can't wait to chat with you again soon. Appreciate the invitation.
Sure. Thank you, man. Cheers.
Thanks, man. Take care.
You too.